Are we ready? Because I want to start this out with my performance.
You know what?
It's getting critical. Somebody about to get lyrical.
And
Kicking flows like he played for Liverpool.
I take so much Molly that I think I might be spiritual.
All right. Y'all ready for this?
Too wide.
Shout out to Fashion Nova for the pants. Let me perform this. I wrote this
crazy.
today while doing my morning cardio. Silence in the room, please. Dark rainbow. Just know that your actions are shameful.
Ooh.
You only got this job because T-Rail was giving you anal.
Ooh.
You a big bitch. You couldn't play for the Bengals.
Ooh.
I feel bad for your family and also your ankles.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, your cankles. You got some sugar in the tank. You got a whole tank full. Your BMI is atrocious. Got fired by the figs because you couldn't stop doing hoe shit. They said I'm crazy for going to the 40s, but I'm finally famous. I want to interview your mama. I got 2 bands for that old bitch. Tried to get a settlement. That's unsettling.
Ooh.
I bet you die of AIDS, but I'm not a betting man.
Ooh.
I can't take the high road. I can't let up, man.
Ooh.
You a big back, but inside, you just a little man. Keen's daddy smoked crack. I smoke crack too. You got fired by the whites and the blacks too. I hate to dance on your grave, but I had to. You so fat that your blood type is ragu. We smoking on Big Gummy Bear Pack tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Don DeMarco,
We smoking on Cinnamon Pete.
Man,
Come on, man.
that felt good.
Cinnamon
That felt
Pete.
good. I'm not gonna lie.
You
The
got my cigarettes
Sassy
in the back?
Auntie podcast has officially been obliterated.
So I don't know how much of a backstory the people out there need. I would assume that if you're watching the No Jumper Show live, you're probably decently tapped in with the Reddit and the community that exists around No Jumper. We've got a crazy story that's unfolding. Let me take you on a little journey through time. So back almost, I'm going to say it was 7 months ago, we had an employee who was a little light in the loafers. He was working here, doing a podcast. He decided to fake being shot. He disappeared for a period of time, and then he reemerged on another platform, a platform consisting of people who primarily left No Jumper almost 2 years ago. I was a little taken aback. I was a little surprised because from my perspective, once somebody has shown that they were willing to sue / try to get a settlement out of their owner on account of something that never happened, when they're trying to like invent something. Now, if it was something that happened and you try to make your situation make sense, I understand. But when somebody tries to invent something like that out of thin air, to me, this is very shocking. And to me, even if you don't like me, even if you're somebody who deep in your bones, you hate No Jumper, I think that would be enough information, you know, no matter how much I might not get along with Lefty Gunplay. If Lefty Gunplay had a filmer who tried to sue him for sexual harassment, and I had every reason to believe that it didn't actually happen, I would look at that filmer as a liability, and I would probably choose not to hire that person. Now,
You're able to be objective.
I mean, being sued sucks. Now, we didn't get sued in this situation, but it definitely seemed like it could have happened, and we could have got basically extorted out of money if he had been a little bit smarter and able to fool us into thinking that he was actually injured in some way, whatever. So I was a little taken back. I was like, really? You guys hate me so much that you are willing to let a snake into your business? It just seemed kind of crazy. So now for the first couple months that Dejon being at Figmunity,
A snake directly after he ate a pig. You know, the swollen snake.
definitely not shaped like a pig or like a snake. That's a good
Yeah,
good
yeah,
point.
yeah.
So for the first couple months, it seemed like it was all right. They're bringing him on the pod a little bit here and there. They already had this other show called Fair to Say. They inserted him into that. Anybody who's been paying attention to how this has been playing out, he's basically screwed up relationships with basically everybody on the show. Scotty left. Shout out to Scotty. Seems like a pretty nice guy, to be totally honest.
Scotty's a good, makes good content.
Yes, and speaking of making good content, a rug is a form of content. Stet also left the show. No appreciation for the rugs and signs that he created. Apparently, he was informed that they valued having the gummy bear there more than him. So, from my perspective, it's like, damn. Even before the events that took place today, which we can actually read the statement that was put out, it just seemed to me like, wow, this is really going left. Like this is going in such a direction that it's really kind of shocking. I'm going to read you guys the actual statement that was put out this morning.
Before you read, do you think that Stet and the other guy Scotty will be coming back now? You know they like to double back on shit.
Honestly, Stet seems like he's angry enough, and he's got his own platform now. He's got his own channel, doing his own pod, and it seems like there's still like a level of anger towards him coming from the existing hosts because they took down all of his signage that he had created.
Oh wow.
Which seems kind of serious.
But it's not just him though, because T-Rail made it clear. Fuck Scotty, fuck Stet, fuck Dejon, and fuck DJ Head. That's a direct quote from
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
And DJ Head apparently had told Scotty,
right, saw this.
It's probably in your best interest to not be affiliated with this platform because people don't really take it seriously. And that's what inspired Terrell to go off in the manner in which he did.
I was a little surprised by that, to be totally honest, just because I would have thought that DJ Head would have wanted to support an underground platform, not underground, but a platform that's owned by people that are really, from the streets of LA. I was surprised that he would really be reaching out to people and telling them not to fuck with him. That was kind of shocking.
To be fair, I haven't heard Head actually say this.
Yeah.
This is what people are putting on his name. Now, it may or may not be true.
And I'm going to be real with you, like somebody like Scotty, he's super early in his journey of becoming a media professional, right? Like he seems like he knows where he wants to get, but it's like if you're so early on in your journey that you're kind of like maybe like the, I don't know, second, third, fourth most popular host on a relatively small show on a relatively small platform, you should probably like that's not going to fuck your image up so bad that you're not going to be able to recover from it,
Right.
Like
sure.
At all.
Now, there might be some examples of how that could happen. Like, okay, for sure, Brick Baby, if you had started out your media career by going and being a co-host on Alex Jones,
would actually be amazing.
I could see that stopping you one day getting a Vice deal or one day being a CNN co-host or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like Scotty doesn't seem like he's super street or like he has interest in even like any of that shit. So I guess I could see how to him he's like maybe this would be like a bad step or whatever. But from my perspective, it's like when you're real early on, you just need exposure, period.
But I think he has a channel that's like focusing on hip hop media that he had been cultivating prior to even being affiliated with them.
Right.
And Head's trying to be like, look, if you want to be respected in legitimate hip hop media, being a part of the Jerry Springer side of things, the circus that is the content sphere. Now, also, DJ Head also has another former No Jumper / former Figmunity affiliate that he does work with.
Saw that.
Gina.
Right.
So I'm not saying that he gave Gina the same advice, but per my understanding, Gina's no longer.
Gina's a great example. Do you think that he would be doing that show with Gina if she hadn't got her feet wet on No Jumper for a couple of years? He might have ended up feeling like she was basically undervalued here, but being on No Jumper it's not like she was even really consistently on No Jumper that much as a host, but she was in the build, she was around. Ultimately, I think she would have to admit that was good, even if she doesn't like No Jumper now or she thought it was, a bad look or whatever. When you're that early in your career, you just need a look, period.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, I don't, and it also, when I watched the clip of them all talking about DJ Head, I started to feel like maybe he's the boogeyman because it felt like they were all kind of scared to say anything negative about him. And from my perspective, it's like if somebody tells one of your unpaid employees that it's a bad look, you're just gonna let that go. You're not gonna be mad at that person. AD's sitting there oh, that's how he feels. That's cool. I'm like, what? Well, you seem like you should be mad at them for saying that.
AD doesn't like fucking up relationships, so you got to understand he's there to the radio to the where is he at 92.
This is one of two people that curated the performers at the pop-up. You feel me?
He was the one he's kind of in there, so it's like
Head is a super joint out here.
Think they still have action at hip hop rap careers. They don't think it's over.
I don't think who at FMW thinks they still might have a shot at a rap career. Yeah, but do you think AD really thinks that there's a light at the end of this tunnel?
For sure.
Really?
For sure.
Wow. Okay. I haven't gotten that idea.
Whatever that looks like, AD's still actively pursuing rapping. You know what I mean? Like, and he's has a lot of pride about it, to the point where last time I was on stream with him when we were on Wax thing like a month or so back, he was like, I ain't never been whacked. He was standing on business about, because he asked me like he's like, oh, you had said that like my shit was whack when I dissed y'all. I was like, yeah, I said that because it was whack. He's like, I ain't never been whacked. So,
right. And I'm not saying AD is like a whack rapper. I'm just saying it doesn't seem like he's really putting almost any of his energy or time into his rap career.
He's an outdated rapper.
Well, didn't he just put out a tape with Mark Nasty like a month ago?
Case in point. Doesn't feel like we heard a lot about that.
I'm just saying, but regardless of the success, like he takes his rap career seriously.
Yeah, and I mean, he's not a bad rapper. I'm not trying to take that away from him at all, but I just don't really like see that as being something. It doesn't seem like he's putting any effort into it. Besides, you know, you record 10 songs with somebody you're friends with, and you put out a tape, and you know.
Yeah, but he was 3 elbow rubs away from being on the pop-up. You feel me? If he had just kept it a little cooler with head, you feel me? Like,
and also, if he would have been a little bit more consistent. I just feel like he felt like he was supposed to be there, and he see the West Coast coming back and all that. He probably just
LA is not safe.
I'm one song away from a hit.
Dejon, as a co-host on Fair to Say, he ends up basically being a huge dick. We went over the thing about the Dom Kennedy album review, right? That, to me, that was one of the funniest clips I've seen in 2024.
Where's T-Fly?
Yo, just that album review and the way that everybody reacted to it, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
One of the best things I've seen online. I got to give it to him. I think that's the first full pod I've ever watched from the FMW universe, to be totally real. That was amazing. Then after that, and I think that's what kind of led to Scotty leaving, more or less. Then he ends up getting into a huge argument with Stet. Stet allegedly shed some tears in the course of the argument. And then Dejon then makes it his mission to basically like rub it in, the fact that he shed a tear. I don't want to say full on cried, but you know, he was upset and he had like a tear trickle down his face probably. And Dejon starts like I'm gonna be real. Lush, if we got in an argument so bad off camera that you cried, I feel like however right I felt I was in the argument would kind of take a backseat to the fact of like, damn, like I fuck with this dude and I've upset him to such an extent that we got to take a step back here. Like this has gotten way too intense if you're crying, and I'm not going to try to like use it against you. Crying is like a sign that you're so emotionally overwhelmed that you can't just communicate with words. Even if I thought you were being a total bitch, I feel like I would take a step back at that point and just be like, okay, like I'm going to walk away from this for 24 hours and then we could talk. Dejon does the other thing where he begins to like really just use it over and over to be like, you cried. You cried. You cried. You're a crybaby.
That's growing up what we would call some gay shit.
But
he's finally got a chance to call somebody else a bitch.
But this is what he does, though. This is what he does, and the whole way he came at Keem. Keem had mentioned recently that he had a drug addicted father, and that how he was born a crack baby and all
so
that.
that's new news.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
And then he goes out of his way to like when he mad at Keem to be like, fuck your crackhead parents, your crackhead daddy, go. And this is what he does. Dejon Paul, the gummy bear, 3 cinnamon rolls away from his own deathbed. This guy, he throws crack rocks and hides his hand. And he does this habitually. He's admittedly on several occasions when he gets mad at somebody, he's like, I can't control what I say. So when like I was getting into a suspect, I've never even mentioned this human being in my life. And his go-to is, I hope Lush does meth and overdoses and dies. This is the first interaction we've had as human beings.
Right.
He hopes I die of an overdose. Because me and Almighty Suspects, your co-hosts that you've known for 2 months, are arguing on a podcast.
Because
he might have
Bookered?
He might have liked him.
He might have liked him? Yeah.
Oh, what if he just has a crush on everybody in this universe? Either way, those things are like weirdly similar because Stet crying is like him being emotionally vulnerable and open and shit, and then Keem choosing to open up about his dad and whatever fucking drugs he ever did or whatever. Those are both the kind of things that if one of y'all did that, and I know people think I'm an asshole, but that's exactly where I would draw the line. And like, if you confided in me about a parent being a crazy drug addict or whatever, imagine me using that against you in an argument. And not even like in an argument, like next time we get in a big argument, you use that against the person. No, you just use it the whole podcast after that or whatever and just hammer away at it. Like, that is so crazy. Like, that's indicative of a level of being a piece of shit that very few people will ever get to. Like, really think about everybody you've ever dealt with in your whole life.
Them is black people jokes. I keep telling you that.
But not every black person. There might be some people, but very few.
Like, we all our aunties and mamas crackheads when we was growing up. So like, nigga, he's a crack baby, test tube baby.
Right,
we don't know who your daddy is and all types of crazy shit. Like,
yo, but there was shit he was saying about it that was way extra.
Yeah.